Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudivayat. For reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer their respectful obeisances on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, to Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Shrinvatam Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Radyantastoya Bhadrani Vedunoti Sahitsatam. Sri Krishna, who is the Paramatma, the super soul within the heart of each living entity, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the heart of material desires of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are themselves virtuous and properly heard and chanted. Nashta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatu tamashloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. By regular hearing of the Bhagavatam, by rendering service to the pure devotee, almost all that's troublesome to the heart is completely destroyed. Love of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental songs established, is an irrevocable fact. Alright, Bhagavatam, Ben, welcome back. Parth, welcome. We are only one more day Michaelis, and so we'll have a little bit more flexibility to all of our duties, but right now we're all taking the Michael share of things. But tomorrow's one last test. Today my parents are coming, so that's a fun activity.
They also have the share in that. So
what's that?
They also have a little share in that. So.
Yes. So they will, I think, be here for the program tomorrow. That's my hope. I'm going to try and encourage them. They will be here sometime this morning. Between.
Is the brother also coming?
What's that?
Is the brother also coming?
My brothers are not coming this time around, but they're going to all come to the name-giving ceremony.
When is that?
That's May 10th. So that'll be a few weeks from now. Even though I kind of already know the name. I think I know the name. But if I get better information, then it'll change. But I think I know the name. But we're not actively calling him his name yet. So we're kind of just seeing what fits. And right now we just call him Baby. Or I just usually give him like some type of, like Bubby or something like that. Yeah, I haven't called him Lala yet. It's just not natural for like an American to say Lala. It's just really not natural. I can do it to you guys in the kitchen, but that's only for Musty. But it's very unnatural for me. I can't see him be like, oh Lala. You know? It's very unnatural.
It's not the American thing.
No, it's so many things. And like I just think of La La Land. La La Land. La La Land is like a land of like like crazy. That's I was told that since I was a kid. So anyway, just different culture. But what could be done? All right, we should do some Bhagavatam. Where are we right now? 1:11:27. Oh yeah, we're supposed to connect to here so you guys can all see. That's the whole point of this thing. That's Ben's contribution to the ashram.
It's a very good contribution.
Yes, it's very nice. Yeah, you can. That's a great idea. So, all right. So what's been happening is Krishna's been getting an expert greeting. Entering Dwarka, and many different things are being mentioned. We've been talking about even the roles of men and women, why the women are greeting him the way they are, why the men are greeting him the way they are. Then Piyush is remarking at your unorthodox Bhagavatam style. But it's fine. No problem.
I find it very interesting. I've never seen that happening in any class.
So, no problem. There is no problem. I actually used to do stuff like that when I first entered Krishna consciousness, I was like a yogi, and I was like, it was uncomfortable for me to sit on the floor, and then I would like, in the middle of class, I would be stretching in class and stuff. And actually, this is like really common with yogi people. I see it all the time.
I've seen that.
Yeah, what's that?
Natalie also does that.
Yeah, any like Western person, because they usually get into their like spirituality through yoga, so they think like, all right, well, I'm trying to stay spiritual right now through this. And next thing you know, they're doing like a yoga class, and so but everyone tolerated me at the
In
temple.
India, it's not acceptable.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I now know the etiquette, but I didn't know the etiquette at first. So.
Like lot of eyes goes up.
Yes.
So
It's just a cultural difference. Like it's just a cultural difference. You would never. You always should just sit up tall and attentive. Even like putting one's legs out is considered an offense. Because I didn't know that either, but I was just sitting there like all the time, my feet facing the speaker. For you guys are laughing, but for us, it means nothing.
Right.
We have no idea that means anything wrong, because we don't have the same culture in regards to the feet and so on. So anyway, these are these are some things, but actually, this is very, very common when Westerners come and start hearing Harikatha. They're like, it's not like they grew up hearing Harikatha.
No wonder what Prabhupada would have seen.
Yeah, Prabhupada, crazy things. He saw these people. Not only that, they were all on drugs, so they were doing really crazy things. Like outbursts in class and like crazy, really crazy things. Drunk. I mean, one guy, I'm thinking of a story, one drunk homeless guy, he came up and like interrupted class to give Prabhupada a roll of toilet paper.
Why?
It was actually his humble offering. That was what he could think to offer. That was maybe what he had access to. But he somehow knew that Prabhupada deserved some respect, so he wanted to present him a gift. And so he gave him a roll of toilet paper. So what could be done? This is he came to a crazy land. So even now, we're very tolerant. I literally every Western person who somehow comes to Krishna consciousness, at least in the beginning, they all do yoga during class. They all almost always. It's like so common phenomena for me. Like I've seen it. I've seen Shivadas do a few stretches in class before.
Headstand. Headstand.
He did a headstand the one time. That's right. I've seen.
Yes.
I did it a ton. But like almost every like Western person, because they usually come in through yoga and they develop a spiritual feeling through yoga. So then next thing you know, they're trying to keep that up in class, and next thing you know, they're in an asana or something.
Just not used to sitting for class.
Yeah. There's so many factors, but I used to I used to be doing all kinds of asanas, and everyone tolerated me. No one said anything to me for so long. Like I wish someone said something to me, because I did it for like a year. But what could be done? They were so tolerant of me in Tawako.
That's how this movement grew.
Yes. So just tolerating. Prabhupada accepted so many things, like so many crazy things he accepted. In the beginning, no one knew that they were supposed to serve in some way. So they would just come and take. And Prabhupada's like an old man, and he's like cooking for them. He's cleaning all the pots. He's doing everything. And they're just like, maybe like it took like maybe like a month or so of programs like that before they realized like, hey, maybe we should help him. But like none of the, in the early disciples, is just such a foreign culture, and we don't have that type of culture. We have
We like to be served, not served.
Yes, we're in the master culture. We're like, yes, this is very nice that this man is serving us. Please keep serving me. This is absolutely it's a paradigm shift. So anyway, no problem. If you want to, do that, I have no issue. I have this. Yeah. It's good to come out like today for like in four of us rather than in a public assembly. So it's better than a Sunday program. So no problem. But I wouldn't have said anything. I'll just be like, no, it's good. He's here in Harikatha. But it is actually maybe nice that you do know that, like, if you were to like say, like, hear from like a guru or something like that, I would personally, no, up. I would say like that. But anyhow, No
You want
problem.
to take the back support here? Like it's totally fine. Like it's good for your back. Trust me. That's alright. You good? Please. I feel bad now.
No problem. No problem. If you're uncomfortable, Ben, the back support might be okay. No problem.
I'll survive.
Yeah, you survive. So, okay. Funny. All right. Well, where are we now? We're in Bhagavatam. Krishna is still getting his elaborate entrance, and Prabhupada is remarking on the glories of Dwarka and also some of the societal differences between Dwarka or Aryan culture and what we just kind of talked about, the differences between Aryan culture and today's modern Western culture. So there's like a little black piece that goes on top of it. So anyway, let us chant some mantras and bring the gurus here. So yes, we talk about very good things and evoke the mercy of the Lord and the gurus to come to us and give us something today. I will need somebody to scroll here. Anybody can do it.
Do you have the mouse?
Maybe. So, all right, all musty is over now, and now we are going to get a little serious, a little grave. I've been personally struggling, and my wife maybe even more so than I, balancing our material obligations with our spiritual, duties or needs. So. What's it? Yes. So, but it's become very prominent in my life. Before it was much easier to just prioritize all of my spiritual duties with less material obligations. But now this newborn infant is quite the material obligation. So tomorrow we're going to ask my Gurumaj to speak on this exact thing, balancing material obligations and one's spiritual life. So anyhow, let's begin with Bhagavatam. We talked last verse, we talked about the Brahma Samhita verse, how beautiful the form of the Lord is, how everything is ultimately His under his protection. This was a nice verse. The Lord's chest, the abode of the goddess of fortune. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for eyes which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods, meaning his arms give them protection. That's where they go to receive their blessings to do their things, and that's where we need to go to receive blessings too. If we want to manage any project in this material world, if any administrating needs to be done, it only can be done with the blessings of the Lord. And his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship. We talked about the very important aspect of approaching the Lord from the bottom up, not trying to immediately want to jump to, oh, well, me and the Lord are best buddies, or me and the Lord, he is now my lover, and all these things. When we get initiated into this process, we always take the name Das, Ram Das, or and like that. Why? Because we start from the role of a servitorship, and then maybe we could be granted access to a more intimate position in life. But we must, and even we gave the analogy yesterday, right? The Bhagavatam, there's so many intimate pastimes in the 10th canto that we could just try and hop right to. But it's recommended we start from the feet of the Bhagavatam, which is cantos 1 and 2, what we're starting. We're slowly working our way, setting the foundation to approach the Lord. And it's, so these are some of what we talked about yesterday, right? And then now today, let's continue on in the Bhagavatam, and the description of the Lord's entering Dwarka will continue. Sitata patra vyajaneru paskrita prasuna varshera vivarshita pati pishangavasa vanamalaya babho Gano yatharko rupachapa vaidyutai Sita atapatra white umbrella Vyajanai with a chamara fan Upaskrita being served by Prasuna flowers Varshai by the showers Abhivarshita thus being covered Pati on the road, Pishangavasaha, by the yellow garments, Vanamalaya, by the flower garlands, Babho, thus it became, Gana, cloud, Yatha, as if, Arka, the sun, Udupa, the moon, Chapa, the rainbow, Vaidyutai, by the lightning. I love these descriptions. So there's one in the 10th canto similar to this. As the Lord passed along the public road of Dwarka, his head was protected from the sunshine by a white umbrella. White feathered fans moved in semicircles, and showers of flowers fell upon the road. His yellowed garments and garlands of flowers made it appear as if a dark cloud were surrounded simultaneously by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbows. So it's like a complete festival for the eyes. Purport. The sun, moon, rainbow, and lightning do not appear in the sky simultaneously. When there is sun, the moonlight becomes insignificant, and if there are clouds and a rainbow, there is no manifestation of lightning. The Lord's bodily hue is just like a new monsoon cloud. He is compared, right? A peacock plume makes his monsoon blue body. We're always singing in the morning. He is compared herein to the cloud. The white umbrella over his head is compared to the sun. The movement of the bunch hair of fan of flukes is compared to the moon. The showers of flowers are compared to the stars. His yellow garments are compared to the rainbow. So all these activities of the firmament, being impossible simultaneous factors, cannot be adjusted by comparison. Interesting, he uses the word firmament. Do you know what the firmament is? It's a biblical term, and it's actually the description of how the cosmos is set, where there's a cosmic situation up here, but there's actually a covering at the top. Actually, there is some evidence of the firmament. If you ever see at night, it's possible also in the day, when the sun or the moon hits midnight, true midnight, or the sun hits high noon, there's an evidence, there's like this halo that will come around the sun or the moon. Only at that point, and that would only happen when it's something is being reflected beyond it. And there's said, at least in the Bible, but also in the Vedas, there's that there's water from above the firmament. It's said even that Vaman, when he lifted his toe to conquer the universe, that he poked a hole in the firmament, and that's where the Ganga came from, the heavenly waters beyond the covering. So it's interesting he used the word firmament here. That's like a huge conspiracy theory, like all these like flat earthers, and they're made to look so bad on the internet and things like that. But actually, they may be onto something. I'm not saying I'm subscribing to all these flat earth theories, but I will say that all the ancient traditions do say this. And what I can also say for a fact that NASA has proven over and over again that they use CGI and computer animated images, and they fake so many things as far as their supposed space travels and things. And there's a reason no one has supposedly been back to the moon since 1970s, even though our technology has skyrocketed since then. And if you look at the so-called vessel they said sent to the moon, it literally looks like a little tin can. Like, it's crazy to even think that thing went to the moon. And if you see how the astronauts were moving, it was clear they were being wired. And it's an insane, I don't know what the heck they were doing, but they probably didn't know any better. They thought they could fake it with 1960s technology, but whatever it is now, it's obvious that they did not go to the moon then, and it's likely that if they still claim they don't go to the moon since the 70s, they don't have that type of technology. So anyway, these are some things, meaning that probably all of the images we're getting of Earth, so-called images, are not bona fide as well. So anyway, Prabhupada is poking at that thing, but I think he doesn't go. He's not going to further disturb the thing. So all these activities of the firmament, being impossible simultaneous factors, cannot be adjusted by comparison. The adjustment is possible only when we think of the inconceivable potency of the Lord. The Lord is all-powerful, and in His presence anything impossible can be made possible by His inconceivable energy. But the situation created at the time of His passing on the roads of Dwarka was beautiful and could not be compared to anything besides the description of natural phenomena. So actually, when we talk about Lord and His descriptions, oftentimes we're given like a natural phenomena as like an analogy. It's like this and it's like that. Why? Because that's what we understand. That's what our consciousness is set in. But actually, it's so much farther, more spectacular than that. But we can only use, some relevance. Like with a child, one of the analogies given is like the moon on the branches. When a child sees, like a moon on the branches, it may think that the moon is resting on the tree. It sees the moon through the tree, and it thinks, and so the mother can say, yes, the moon is resting on the tree, and he may want the moon. He can't fathom that the moon is so far beyond, and there's some cosmic programming. The child, is like this. So we also can't fathom how incredible the energies and the beauty and the so much. So we can only compare it to the sun, the moon, rainbows, lightning, all happening all at once. This is the situation of the Lord. And so many descriptions are found like this in the 10th canto. Well, just seeing the Lord passing, we can't even imagine how beautiful and how true spiritual beauty is. We only have the material lens right now. So anyway, this is something. Let's continue on. Let's see what else Prabhupada teases out today. And the Bhagavatam gives us what subject matter. Pravishtas tu graham pitro Parishvakta svamatrabi Vavande shirasa sapta Devaki pramukha muda Pravishta, after entering. Tu, but. Graham, houses. Pitro, of the father. Parishvakta, embraced. Swamatrabi, by his own mothers. Vavande, offered obeisances. Shirasa, his head. Sapta, 7. Devaki, Pramukha, headed by. Muda, gladly. After entering the house of his father, he was embraced by the mothers present, and the Lord offered his obeisances unto them by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were headed by Devaki, his real mother. It appears that Vasudeva, the father of Lord Krishna, had completely separate residential quarters where he lived with his 18 wives, out of whom Srimati Devaki is the real mother of Lord Krishna. There may be some... there's the popular, well-known pastime of Krishna, where Prabhupada is alluding to this. But in other places you may see that Prabhupada has a different opinion as to who the real mother of Krishna is, and our acharyas may also have a different opinion as well. But at least from the way the pastime goes in this material world, the biological or the circumstance from which he first came and first appeared to be from Devaki. So Prabhupada calls her the real mother of Lord Krishna. But in spite of this, all other stepmothers were equally affectionate to him, as will be evident from the following verse. Lord Krishna also did not distinguish his real mother from his stepmothers, and he equally offered his obeisances unto all the wives of Vasudeva present on the occasion. According to scriptures also, there are 7 mothers: the real mother, the wife of the spiritual master, 3, the wife of a brahmana, 4, the wife of the king, 5, the cow, 6, the nurse, and 7, the earth. Actually, why is cow killing such a great sin? It's akin to killing one's own mother, because the cow gives us milk, and this is the role of a mother, is to give milk. And if we kill an animal that gives us milk, especially the cow, we are, and also, this why it's such a sin to, if you were to ever make advances at the wife of the spiritual master, or the wife of a brahmana, or the wife of a king, it's actually akin to making sexual advances at your own mother, as far as sin levels. So these things are very, yes, we have to be very careful, but it takes some culturing to understand this, to have this perspective. But even the nurse as well, and 7, the stepmother, 7, the earth, sorry. All of them are mothers, even by this injunction of the Shastras. The stepmother, who is the wife of the father, is also as good as the mother, because the father is also one of the spiritual masters. Lord Krishna, the Lord of the universe, plays the part of an ideal son, just to teach others how to treat their stepmothers. So this is nice. We always get some type of cultural illumination here, just how to properly see. Also women, women, especially women of this category, as motherly. That's why in ISKCON it's very prominent. Everyone's like Mata, Mataji, Mata, 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 Mataji. But in also in the Gaudiya Math it's a little looser, but everyone's Didi. Didi's like sister. Didi, Didi, like this. But always seeing like women as like a family relative, and if there's not that feeling is not there, you're allowed to have at least one, person that you feel in the romantic way, and you marry that person. That's the Aryan or the cultural thing to do. So anyway, these things are there. Everyone here, nobody here. When was the last time anyone ate any beef? Some of you probably never in your whole life, right? In India, you never eat beef your whole life, right? Me and
people eat, but like
very fair. Like only like Muslims would eat in India, practically,
also.
and the Christians as well. So we ate many beef things in our life, right? Yeah. So that's good. So yes, this is violence to the mother, actually. Actually, if you think of something like a cheeseburger is, or a cheese stick, yeah, it's like taking the breast milk of the mother and then frying up her body or cooking up her body and then putting her own breast milk on the thing. It's actually it's a very abominable thing to do to any species, to anyone. But especially, yes, go ahead.
I just have to say, naming a food like pigs in a blanket is like one of the most psychopathic things I've ever heard.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what that is?
yes, those little corn dog things.
It's like the name and the action, and just those two things together. It's like, wow, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's Kali Yuga. It's really quite disturbing. But you don't know it. You're cultured into this thing.
Yeah,
We
but
don't.
it's
Most
so
don't even.
normalized that how would
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
just
That's
so
the main
casual.
thing, right? It's the way it's been.
Yeah. So
Now
Krishna.
they come in a package like a shoebox.
Mm-hmm.
So beautiful and so delicious.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, like the
Like
fast
gourmet
food thing.
cake is coming.
Yes, it's dressed up and it's hidden, but you see, and Prabhupada talks about this over, just the abomination of having these slaughterhouses. If the people actually saw what was happening, like the regular American person actually saw the process, they wouldn't do it. I mean, what's Paul McCartney said, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be a vegetarian, because it's so abominable. And also the workers who, they're usually just coming out of prison or something, they get like the lowest class workers they can find to do this, because it psychologically damages anybody who's part of this process. It's so unnatural, and it's so like inherently evil. But we don't know it because we have it. It's like Piyush said, it's dressed up in this perfect little package in the grocery store. But, and it looks so clean and innocent, and like the magic cow fairy or the cow tree had provided this nice array of meat. But the actual process is so abominable that if anybody actually saw it or was guided through the process, most would be. That's actually why I do respect hunters. I don't necessarily subscribe to hunters. In Aryan civilization, the hunter was seen as one of the lowest classes of people who have to survive that way. But at least the hunter, they know the whole process, and they usually have much more respect. And I find I know I grew up around a bunch of hunters that they usually have much more respect for the quality of their meat, how the process happens, and so on. Now, I don't necessarily agree with their still continuing, even though they know the process, but at least they know the process, they see it, and they participate in the process. And they're actually less inclined, many people hunt also to save money, they're less inclined to go support the factory farming, slaughterhouse operations in the stores. So,
They usually make a point to be as quick and merciful as they can.
yeah, it's a
They're going
much...
to do it at all.
Yeah, it's a much more natural process. But most of us, I mean, I grew up, I never killed an animal. I didn't understand a chicken nugget was a murdered chicken. Like, I did, like, I kind of intellectually knew it, but I didn't actually, like, put it together, what it took to put the chicken nuggets together. I didn't, like, the whole process. It's just, yeah. So anyway, so now we have a culture where actively the murder of the mother, being the cow, is just super prominent. And then, welcome to America, welcome to the Western world. India is maybe a last bastion of at least where the world the country knows it's wrong. But even that, in the country, India is one of the largest smugglers of beef. There's plenty of people in India who would rather make the buck and make it on the black market.
Hidden way.
What's that?
Which is pro religion, government supports that.
Yeah.
They could have easily stopped it because money is coming from there.
Yeah.
A lot of money. So
Yes. It's
the largest
corruptions and so many things. Just like in America, I think right now there's a war on the border, but some administrations where they were benefiting from all of the drug trading and even human trafficking coming in. And so now, I don't know who's challenging what, but now they're making this very prominent that probably because that administration doesn't financially benefit from this, so they need to, but it's a very, very sick thing. There's many profitable things, black market. I myself, personally, I recognize the intense value of just carrying this little herb at some point in my life. And by just because there's a black market on the herb, the price of this thing is crazy. People will pay all kinds of money for this. And I personally benefited for years like that before the Lord kind of checked me. So these things are very interesting. But anyhow, not so important, not so relevant, but Krishna is showing how we should treat the mothers in our life with the utmost respect. I'll have a good test today. My mother is coming here, and actually I have a difficult time personally with my mother, you know. No, really, I have to like learn how to, properly, because the culture between parents and children in the West, in India, is so nice. Everyone's so respectful and loving, and it's sweet. But here in the West, you know, we weren't raised that way, you know, and so I have to find myself, you know, trying to apply these teachings. Even my mother-in-law was just here, and you know, and she was so helpful. But there's going to be just many differences of things she was going to want to do in her life, and you know, and then the things. And now she's in my space with me for like a whole week. So I'm like, I was finding myself, getting, potentially being able to offend her. Actually, I think my mother-in-law told my wife, or told me, I forget which one, she was like, "You're lucky I don't take offense to them, you speaking like that." So, why? Because, you know, I just explained. But yeah, there is an actual culture. Maybe Krishna's putting this in my space, so I actually can culture myself a little bit today when my mother visits, and give her the proper respect and love, and my father as well, that they deserve. So we'll see. Let's continue reading. Taputram ankamaropya snehasnuta payodaraha harsha vivalitatmanaha sishichur netra jerjalai ta, all of them, putram, the son, ankam, the lap, aropya, having placed on, snehasnuta, moistened by affection, payo daraha, breasts filled up, harsha, delight, vivalita atmanaha, overwhelmed by, sishichu, wet, netrajai, from the eyes, jalai, water. The mothers, after embracing their sons, sat him on their laps. Due to pure affection, milk sprang from their breasts. They were overwhelmed with delight, and the tears from their eyes wetted the Lord. This is a very motherly thing. Actually, it's really interesting. I'm learning about this right now. My wife is feeding our son, and it's amazing. Just by him crying, her body like begins to like transform and immediately want to react to the crying. So on the other emotional spectrum, they're seeing their beautiful son, the Lord, and so much affection is there that immediately their body responds by wanting to give. Because this is actually how most of us, we should have been nourished, at least, was through the breast milk. That's another thing we kind of, me and my wife were trying to raise our son almost purely on this way, but we've actually had a little difficulty in the beginning. But we didn't want to go to formula because it's so natural and so healthy to have the breast milk, and we're living in a society that's, I think there's a certain sect of society that's trying to potentially lead us away from this very natural and very essential part of life. So, but anyhow, it's very natural, especially for once a woman becomes a mother, for this to arise. And I have been way too intimately understanding this process as of lately, because it's been so prominent. A part of our lives. We're really trying to get this going. So anyway, this is one of the natural qualities of women, especially those who have become mothers, that this is a sign of their intimacy. They were overwhelmed with delight, and the tears from their eyes wetted the Lord. When Lord Krishna was at Vrindavan, even the cows would become moistened by affection towards him, and he would draw milk from the nipples of every affectionate living being. So what to speak of the stepmothers, who are already as good as his own mother? So this is one of the qualities of Krishna. If you have nipples that can give milk, it's coming, because he is that attractive. So that's also very interesting. You never know what you're going to talk about in Bhagavatam class. It's not even me talking about it. It's not even like this crazy guy is just like, pulling this out of nowhere. It's just like, nope, this is in the translations of the Bhagavatam. So anyhow, let's do at least one more verse. Athavishat Swabhavanam Sarvakama Manutamam Prasada Yatra Patninam Sahasrani Chashodasha Atha. Thereafter, Abhishat entered Swabhavanam, personal palaces, Sarva, all, Kamam, desires, Anutamam, perfect to the fullest extent, Prasada, palaces. That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that Prasada was palaces. Yatra, where? Patninam, of the wives numbering. Sahasrani, thousands. Cha, over and above. Shodasha, 16. Thereafter the Lord entered his palaces, which were perfect to the fullest extent. His wives lived in them, and they numbered over 16,000. So now you're going to learn a very interesting thing about Krishna. Lord Krishna had 16,108 wives, and for each and every one of them there was a fully equipped palace complete with necessary compounds and gardens. Full description of these palaces is given in the 10th canto. All the palaces were made by the best marble stone. They were illuminated by jewels and decorated by curtains and carpets of velvet and silk, nicely bedecked and embroidered with gold lace. The personality of Godhead means one who is full with all power, all energy, all opulences, all beauties, all knowledge, and all renunciation. Yes. Therefore, in the palaces of the Lord there was nothing wanting for fulfilling all desires of the Lord. The Lord is unlimited, and therefore his desires are also unlimited, and the supply is also unlimited. Everything being unlimited, it is concisely described here as samakamam, or full with all desirable equipment. So Krishna, and it actually wasn't mentioned here, Krishna lived personally with each wife in each palace, meaning he was able to expand to 16,108 forms. And actually the way it's described is it's wild. Like he would have, like anytime he entered a palace, he would like take another form, but anytime he would come to a public place, he would just have that one form again, and he would just do like this. And Narada Rishi actually had the fortune of watching this, and he was just completely bewildered, seeing how Krishna was doing everything that he was doing.
He's operating at multi-verse level, so he is multi-verse level.
Yes, he's completely infinite amounts of potencies and universes, and he can expand him. He's already expanding himself in so many ways in this universe. Every life form is but an expansion of his Tatastha Shakti, which is operated by the Kshirodakshai Vishnu, or the super soul within each universe. And that's just one universe. There's, as Piyush was saying, there's multi-universes. There's billions upon billions of billions of little tiny universes in the great cosmic expanse. So we can't even fathom the Lord's power. Really, it's in our best interest to just surrender unto the Lord. You know, we can try to be the little Lord. This is our problem. This material world is for the living entities who are foolish enough to try to be the little Lord of everything, and we design our life to give ourselves as much pleasure as possible. Some of us know a little better on how to extract pleasure from this world, but ultimately it's pretty much a useless endeavor, and eventually everything you extract from this Lord is taken from you, and you have to pay with your karma to get and to also get punished if you misstep, which we inevitably do as the little lords of creation. And best interest to just hear about and offer our love and our endeavors towards the big Lord. And in that way we can stay connected to the root, and we can actually thrive in connection to the Lord, like the leaves of a tree, or like all the limbs of the body are thriving in connection with the stomach. I think someone was talking about yesterday, chopping off a finger or something, and how it's, it becomes useless. So this is actually what happens when we try to become the little Lord of creation. Just best to not. So let's see if this is long. Oh, it's very long. We have to stop here. So it's question time. Go ahead.
I just had a thought. I just find it very interesting that none of our media or our pop culture or our stories, it's very rare, and I don't think I've ever seen this conceptualized in a way that's presentable, even outside the context of Krishna consciousness. There's been no
What are you saying?
like
This?
fictional books or movies or anything with the concept of this is our relationship. We're all trying to lord it over. This is our position with the Supreme. You know what I mean?
Oh yes.
Like from that angle, even if it's not specifically Shastric,
Yeah.
just that angle is not explored or looked at or presented in any of our media.
Yeah. Well.
I find that very interesting.
Yes. Well, there's a couple factors there that would contribute. One, it's Kali Yuga, and all Brahminical culture has been practically lost in Kali Yuga, even in India. Even the so-called Brahmanas in India are quite non-Brahminical by the actual historic understanding of the term. So, and to understand these things was always, it was such a high endeavor, and only the top tier class of people would be able to even understand. So now you're looking at a very degraded Kali Yuga where not even most of the world doesn't even hit the fourth class of being a proper Shudra. We do so many abominable things in this world. So, and these are the people who have access to the money, the power, the governments, all these things. So there are some things that are out there that start to tease on this, some. But actually it's a great desire of mine. I would love to see in our modern media and entertainment and things like that there was something out there, maybe an animated film or movies or something that could conceptualize these things and help impact. But that's kind of the great work of the devotees. If not you, then who? This is what should give the devotees great inspiration. There's so much service to be done. The people of the world are, living in darkness, sleeping in the lap of Maya. They have no hope, but somehow or other, we're given the light of illumination. The sun has risen in the devotee's life, and how can we help facilitate that happening for others? So the devotee will work very tirelessly to, set up this arrangement, that arrangement, and who knows, maybe one day we'll have arrangement to set up a media company or something like that, but it's hard enough even to just be a devotee. It's just hard enough to just maintain being like a decent devotee. Now what's to speak of really, it's so, but from what I've heard on these types of subject matters, it's not, if not you, then who? If not now, then when? So if we don't act, we can notice, it's amazing, nobody has ever done this thing that should be done. All right, well, you noticed, so you do it. So that's good, but there's a lot of obstacles to doing it, and money is not easy to come by, and all these things are not easy to come by. But there are, I would say it's a very juvenile effort, but there are efforts. Like if you go in Mayapur, they have the best minds and resources that at least ISKCON can put together, and then maybe there's something happening within the Gaudiya Math Sanghas as well. But I don't think it's nearly as prominent. The resources aren't nearly as available. There are people trying to do something. I would say it's not meeting near the quality that we would like to see, but. If not you, then who? That's, if you, and maybe we should start smaller, let's see if we can at least rally our local sanghas. And maybe you don't have to make a movie, but I'll tell you what I've seen that's very, very captivating. I've seen little kids put on little dramatic plays and performances of some of the pastimes and concepts that have brought tears to the whole audience's eyes, including mine. I've seen just children do it, and just orchestrating a little play or a drama. And actually, this is what Lord Chaitanya would do. They would orchestrate dramas, and they would perform the dramas of the pastimes of the Lord and the concepts in regard to the Lord. And it's very profound. So maybe we could start there here. Maybe Ben signing up for, we can start a little. It's actually super recommended. A lot of temples do it. They have like part of their congregation, especially with kids. I did a couple plays. I was Lord Nityananda in a play, and on Nityananda Trayadashi, and I was Lord Nityananda. With the play of Jagai and Madhai. I didn't like. They put way too much makeup on me. I never wore makeup like that in my life. I hated it. And also, I knew all the things about all the chemicals I was putting on my body, so I hated it. But I wanted to do the play, and I thought it was so nice, and I really got into it. So it was sweet. But anyway, you could, we could do something like that, where we can have little skits or plays. People would love that if they start. Especially the Indian students, if they heard that, they got skits and plays over here, and they got free food, that's it, finished. We'll be packed. But it's just, so, if you're looking for a service, coordinate with a couple of the boys that would be wonderful. And the girls would love it too, So, anyway, but maybe even before then, we'd have to at least understand the pastimes. We'd have to actually ourselves go through it. So it's quite the endeavor, but there's a lot of service to be done. And then maybe one day, you could somehow penetrate the media. I was talking, there's a young girl here, her name's Stephanie. She was Meghna's friend that she came. And the reason she came through Meghna is because she read a book from a very prominent social personality named Jay Shetty. And Jay Shetty you've heard of Jay Shetty? See him, he has like some podcast on purpose, and he's very prominent. This is very popular, So, but he actually, he's not very, very like direct and like telling you, yes, the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavad. But he teases it out, and he gives some little doses. Bhagavad Gita. He recently, not too long ago, during this big Ambani wedding in India that was so popular. During the time, I guess the Kardashians had come to the wedding, and he brought the Kardashians to the ISKCON temple in Chowpatty. Yeah, he did. So he brought the Kardashians and to meet with Radhanath Swami in the ISKCON temple. So this is very good. Let them come and see, and let there be, all of the followers of the Kardashians now say, oh, what is this? Seeing her offering flowers to Prabhupada. It's very nice. It's very nice. So like this, there are people who have some prominence. They use their prominence in the world to bring people a little closer to Krishna. This girl Stephanie I'm seeing, the reason she got here was because she was talking to Meghna about Think Like a Monk, Jay Shetty's book. I haven't personally read it, and I loosely I think understand, but it's just basically getting you, in modern terms, a little familiar with some concepts you'll run into in the Bhagavad Gita. But then, last Wednesday, she left with the Bhagavad Gita because, now she's ready. She was introduced, and then she came. She liked it the first time. She came again. She liked it the second time. Now Tejas gave her Bhagavad Gita. Now let's see what happens, But that's, there's lots of ways you can get people involved. Who knows, maybe one day he can be one of the guys who can maybe help finance a project like you're talking about with the media, things like this. But, it'll take lots of endeavor, lots of bhajan to make that happen. But anyway, you see this in India, there's some B.R. Chopra, right? He made these Mahabharat series and so many series to try and bring people to these things. So anyway, that is Bhagavatam for today. I also personally, I know somebody who is making a meditation VR thing. I don't know if they're still doing it. But I distributed them a Bhagavatam telling them if you incorporated these things into your meditation VR world, you would have like an amazing, it'd be really cool. So anyway, we had like a little, one time, like a couple of years ago, we had like a 2-hour discussion on that. But I don't think, I couldn't get them fully committed. But I would love, if there were some serious devotees who were really passionate about this, you know, in that realm, that would be wonderful. But who is even trying to just be a devotee, you know, first? That's the step one. So anyway, Hare Krishna. Thank you guys for joining. I have